Greetings, folks. Nathan Asman here. I am going to be showing you today how to get your eMotion hardware and software communicating with Ableton Live. That will allow you to MIDI map whatever data streams you're using into Ableton, which will allow you to control virtually any parameter within Ableton. So you can use your eMotion hardware and software and Ableton Live to perform. To get started, you will have already downloaded your eMotion installer package. Within that, the first thing you're going to want to do is read the README first text file right there. That's going to explain in step-by-step instructions how to install your serial drivers and where to install the max patches and that kind of thing. When you're done with that, first thing you're going to want to do is open up the eMotion demo project folder right there and open up the eMotion lobby demo max patch. I have already done that, so what you're going to see when you do that is a number of windows that are going to pop up. The first one that we're going to be focusing on right now is the eMotion Fuse, and that's this green one right here. I would like to note that there's a certain order you should do things right here. You should already have your eMotion base station plugged in and ready to go to your computer. It looks like this with that solid green light there. That solid green light means that it is not transmitting or receiving data because it's solid green, but it is connected. You're gonna after you connect that, you're gonna open up the lobby, and before you turn this on and off, you're gonna want to make sure that your sensor package, in this case the twist, which looks like that, minus the duct tape and the hat. I have this mounted into a hat because this is the instrument I was using to perform a piece I wrote for the eMotion hardware. Anyway, you're going to want to make sure that that sensor is turned off. So no blinking lights, no nothing, just off. Then you're going to open up that eMotion lobby, and you're going to see this window. As soon as that's open, before you turn on your sensor, you're going to want to hit this little toggle box right here, the on-off. So you're going to click that. Now it has enabled the software to get the data. So now I'm going to turn on the sensor by clicking this little, or hitting this little button, like so. Oh, I got to plug in the battery first. There we go. All right, now it's on, and it is blinking green like that, the sensor as well as the base station is blinking. Those blinking lights on both the sensor suite and the base station mean that you have a good connection and everything is good to go. So now that we have all that, you will have noticed when I turned everything on that this little window here popped up with a little guy right here, the mod serial MU. You're going to want to double click that. It's going to pop up with this window, which is a really cool interface to show you all the different data streams that you have access to that are coming from the twist or whichever sensor package you're using. The first thing you're going to want to do after you do that is calibrate the sensor. So you're going to want to just set it down on the table or whatnot to make sure it's flat and not being moved. And then you're going to want to hit this calibrate button up here at the top. You'll see the percentage start to go up, which means it's calibrating. And what it's doing is essentially just smoothing out the data streams, making sure that there's no jitter or weird anomalies in the data. So you have a very accurate, solid data stream to then plug into Ableton. So it's almost done here. All right, so now it's done. And you see that this rainbow-colored square box popped up. And now I'm going to show you it's reflecting the movements of the sensor in the hat. Very accurately, I might add, which is fantastic. So it does all that, which is awesome. So after we've calibrated it, what we're going to want to do is open up the DDW max patch, which is the Digital Data Workstation. What you're going to do is open up that same installer package folder, eMotion demo project folder, and then down here at the bottom you have that untitled DDW. You're going to open that up, which I've already done, and it's going to pop up with this window here. Now This window is blank because we have not created any tracks, but basically what it's going to do is you're going to be able to create new tracks and assign those tracks to specific data streams from the sensors you're using, and then rescale the data to be usable for MIDI, and then send it out to Ableton in this case. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a track. So you're going to click this little blue button up here. It's going to come up with something that looks like that. The first thing you're going to do after that is use this drop-down menu here to choose which data stream you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use Euler Y. No particular reason, I just happen to like that one. Now, just to show you that it's working and everything, you're going to see this little monitor window here, the green with the little red. Now watch what happens. See, it's connected to the hat, the motion of the hat, or sensor. However, you will notice that the numbers, it's just -1 to +1. That's not a very big range. It's too sensitive almost. So what you're going to need to do to be able to get it in a workable number range to work with MIDI, which is 0 to 127, you're going to click this red rescale button right here. It's going to pop up with this window. Now, I know, having dealt with this and played around with the twist for a long time, that the Xmin and Xmax numbers are -1 to +1, and that's the default data stream that's sending in right here, the raw data, if you will, from the twist. So I'm going to change that from 0 to -1, so that it is the correct. It gets all the numbers that are being sent in their raw form, and then the Y over here. So you have the X, which is the raw data, and then the Y is going to be the rescaled data. So we're going to need that to be 0 to 127 for MIDI. So we'll leave the 0 there, and then we'll change this to 127, like so. And then all you have to do is click this little rescale on off box here to make it turn on, and now it is sending rescaled data to this number box here. This is the raw data, this is the scaled data. And now when I pick up the sensor / hat, you will see that we go all the way up to 127 and then all the way back down to 0, and it's much more gradual, much more accurate with the motion of the hat. And the number stream is exactly what we need to be MIDI compatible. So you have done all that. Now we're going to keep moving on to the right of this little window here. Don't worry about the output drop-down menu. The net raw is what you want. Just leave that. What we are going to do is click this little MIDI control out blue button here. That's going to come up with a MIDI out window. Now in this window, where you can choose between continuous control messages or note on or note off messages. In this case, we're going to be using the control out messages, continuous controller data, because we're going to be sending gradual streams of data that are going to be mapped to, a fader or a knob in Ableton. So a continuous controller, not a note on like trigger, which you would use the note on, or the note out option here if you were triggering things. Right now we're just controlling parameters this way, continuously, so we're going to do the continuous control out. After you've selected that, you're going to go to this Choose MIDI Device area here, click this drop-down menu, and it's going to open up the different MIDI buses or ports that are available to you to be able to then send data to Ableton. We're going to use from Max 1, and then down here right under that, you see this message box with the numbers there. That is the data that is going to be sent to Ableton. See that? All right, and we have 0 to 127, so it's perfect. And then pick a controller number, pretty much anything from 1 to 127. I'm just going to stick at 1 because there's no need. And then the channel, you have up to 16 MIDI channels, 16 MIDI channels to choose from to send data, the MIDI data. I'm just going to leave it on channel 1. So we're all set. So we're going to close that one. And now you're all set to open up Ableton. So I'm gonna, which I've already done, I'm just gonna pop it back up here. Now, one thing to remember in Ableton is once you have everything set and Ableton is receiving data, it's going to be very sensitive when you actually open up MIDI map mode. To make sure that the Ableton is receiving the data, you're going to want to open up, sorry, I went too fast there. You're going to want to click on Live, then go to Preferences. It's going to open up this preference window here, and then you're going to want to click on the MIDI Sync tab. You're going to see right here this list of MIDI ports, and you're going to see the from Max 1, which is the one we chose in Max in the eMotion software. All you're going to need to do is make sure that the track and remote options are on. Don't worry about sync, you don't need to worry about that, but as long as the track and remote are on, you're good to go. So if they're off, you'll just turn them on like that, like so. Don't worry about the other ports. Those are just other MIDI buses that I've used in the past that we don't need to use, or you'll probably see some of those in yours, but don't worry about them, just use the from Max. We can go ahead and close the preference window then. Now, like I said, now Ableton is receiving, it can actually hear and grab that MIDI data from Max. So what you're going to want to do before you open up MIDI map mode is click on the parameter that you're going to want to control, that you're going to want to map to. In this case, just as an example, I'm going to use the master fader for the volume. So I'm going to click on that just to make sure that's the one I have under control right now. And then I'm going to hit Command M to open up MIDI map mode. You can also click this MIDI button up here in the top right corner. So I'm going to hit Command M. It's going to pop up MIDI map mode. And then you will see that this little number here, 1.1/1, controller 1, channel 1. So that means that it mapped that data stream to that parameter. And over here on the left, under MIDI mappings, you'll see CC1, continuous controller 1, is mapped to the master track volume. Now we can go ahead and close MIDI map mode, which is Command M again. And it is all mapped out and ready to go. So we have the master track volume mapped to the data stream from the eMotion twist using the eMotion software. Now, just to give you a little demo, I'm going to launch this clip so you can hear it, and then put so you can see me there. All right, and then here's what we did. All right, so that's about it. We got everything mapped out and ready to go. Hopefully this is helpful, and yeah, I wish you all the best of luck. Thanks for watching.